Hey, my lovely, lovely, wonderful, beautiful, handsome people, a pleasant evening to everybody. All right, listen to me now, wonderful people. So I'm watching the news. I was watching the seven, nightly news, and I saw something quite disturbing in my view. I was quite disturbed, literally discombobulated by same, and that is the condition of the Linstead Police Officers and the station that it has halted in terms of repair or renovation or maybe getting a new station. I don't recall exactly what the news had said, but some semblance of renovation or refurbishing or a new station, should be given to the should have been done, and the police officer should have segued nicely into the new station, whether it's a brand new station or it is a station that is being renovated. And after a year, still nothing. And they're working under dire situations. It is some community school for the, I don't know if they said for the disabled or the challenged or something of the sort, but there's something that is related, and they have to be using cardboard to block the sunlight out because the time is quite hot and dreary and dry, you know, and that can be really difficult to work. I want the citizens and other of Jamaica to understand sometimes. Maybe that's why when they come on the road, I'm not saying it is right. Don't get me wrong, because I myself wouldn't tolerate any sort of bad behavior. But maybe when you think on things like these, my wonderful citizens and people, who come to our country and encounter some of the police officers, it's not that they're necessarily evil and wicked and without manners. It's that when they have to go through dire situations at work and then come on the road in the heat, I was about to say the hot sun, in the heat, and then go back to the same condition, cannot be good. It cannot feel good. They're human beings. They're not common criminals. And I'm not saying that we must treat common criminals inhumane. If you look at the Nelson Mandela's policy, it talks about treating them as human beings, because he would have understood in some sense what it meant to be a prisoner, though his situation was, he was not guilty, if you understand what I mean. He was not a common criminal, really. And I said to myself, this is really sad to see our law enforcement officers. You wonder if they're behind bars based on the condition that they're facing. They cannot even move into, after 1 year, into the new place, whether a refurbished place or a brand new place. Powers that be that need to, that cannot continue. They're human beings. They're here to serve, to protect, and to reassure. And despite what many may think, I still believe that most police officers are here to do good. It's just that they may need to be retrained, some of them, and remember their background contribute to how they operate, their daily disposition, their daily, how they, just their daily behavior, how they display themselves when they go out. It cannot be easy. And let me tell you something, I could not be a police officer with how some of the people of Jamaica are. Their behavior is just horrible. It is horrid. It is bad. Bad behavior. Insolent, as they would call it. Rude. Very disrespectful. They have no respect for God, man, beast. None whatsoever. So I can just imagine the diatribe that some of these police officers go through with some of the citizens and regular people who live in this country. The behavior is atrocious. If it was something that could put them behind bars, many of them would be behind bars long, many, many moons ago. So we can just imagine having to face horrible people, like some Jamaicans, and then go back to horrible conditions. That cannot be good. The condition, when I saw that, when I heard them saying they have to be put in cardboard to block out the sunlight, and the condition overall is just not fit for human encounter. Humans really should not go through things like this. I said, that's really bad. They're human beings. And we need them in spite of what we may want to think, some of us may want to think about them. If a crisis or crises should take place that requires law enforcement and there is none, what do you think is going to happen? We'll probably have an anarchy. Almost like the movie there, and they have about 3 to 4 parts of it. But although they allow them to annihilate people, like you're given a specific time. I'm seeing the name of the movie and can't call it, But yeah, you know, we would have probably something like that in this, although it would not be allowed, No man, powers that be. You cannot continue to treat the police officers this way. Poor, that's unjust. It's unfair. It is poor service. Poor service. And yet, when some of us go to different business places in Jamaica, we talk about poor customer service. And people assume that the poor customer service has only to do with the attitude of the employer or the employee. Not only that, but just the condition of your establishment. I mean, we're not expecting a creme de la creme. We're not expecting the Queen's Palace or the King's Palace. But at the same time, we expect a level of decency, decorum, and classy, gentleman-like nature. Something that that can be behold. That you leave there, mesmerized, have a memorable experience. So it's an overall package. The condition has to be right. They're here to serve, to protect, and to reassure. And I have to lobby for my police officers. Or someone come like Cross is doing of police on again. No, easy still when I deal with some people. I'm not saying that you don't have some Jamaicans who are not horrible. Don't get me wrong. You do. I just driving on the road in Jamaica, sometimes even just going to work or to school with somebody, you go there disturbed mentally and psychologically because of their behavior. I can understand that at times and how they talk to you at times. And forgive me, maybe back in the day I've been like that. I've allowed, the noise to get to me. But powers that be, you have to do better by the police officers. They should not be, in this day and age, putting cardboard to block out the sunlight and staying in one of the centers that I think it says it's for people who are children who are, I think, challenged. There's some sort of defect. So, where are those children? Where do they stay? Or do we not have places for them? Because you have quite a number of children who are not just autistic and so on, but suffer from some sort of mental and psychological issue where they need guidance and help. They need trained people to help them. So when these centers are used otherwise, where do they go? How do they get their treatment? How do they get their help? That cannot be good. No man. We have to do better. Why has the renovation or the refurbishing or the new building or whatever it is to be done, some level of newness, why has that halted? Is a question. Why has that halted? And for it to make the news, it means that the police officers are tired. The police officers are under duress and they're distressed. They're human beings, As far as I know, they came from the mother's womb. Every last one of them. They're made no different than you and me. So they really and truly should not be in a state and in a condition like that. I'm quite disappointed, powers that be. That the condition, they're in such a condition. And I didn't bother mention, I only spoke to the cardboard issue. And there are other issues because it's not just a car. And that can imagine that if they have to be using, I can just imagine the heat. And it's not their uniform is cool and comfy, not cottony. That is unacceptable. They're human beings. Remember their mantra, their motto, their mission: to serve, to protect us, to reassure us that they're here to do their duty while being a civilian in some sense, while being a citizen. Even though they're really not civilians right now. But you understand what I'm saying. No, man, powers that be have to do better for these police officers. Anyway, guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe, give me one of those lions. Thank you.